No one saw this coming. Not Elon Musk, not Wall Street, not the multi-trillion-dollar electric vehicle race, but deep inside Honda's ultra-secret R&D headquarters, it happened. Something that wasn't supposed to escape the lab. Something that could shake the EV empire to its core overnight. No headlines, no staged unveiling. Just a quiet demonstration inside a hidden testing facility in Saitama, Japan. A single prototype, no battery, no gasoline, no hydrogen tank, just water. And within 48 hours, the tremors were already felt. $14 billion wiped from EV stocks. Tesla wavered. Rivian tumbled. Panasonic took a hit. Because what Honda's engineers reportedly revealed isn't merely a new engine, it's a direct challenge to everything the electric car industry has built in the last decade. Rainwater, tap water, even seawater. The vehicle doesn't carry hydrogen. It produces it in real time while driving. No rare metals, no charging network, no lithium dependency. Just a controlled chemical reaction that turns the rules upside down. Sources inside the lab called the scene unbelievable. One engineer froze, unable to move. Another, breaking protocol, gave a standing ovation lasting nearly 5 minutes. And in Honda's famously reserved boardrooms, that isn't excitement. That's nothing short of a historic rupture. Because if this technology is legit, and early whispers suggest it is, the future won't be about batteries. It will be about water. So, before this story gets buried, before corporate lobbyists try to bury it, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because what you're about to witness may mark the dawn of a post-electric era. Forget everything you thought you knew about hydrogen. This isn't the Honda Clarity 2.0. That car used fuel cells, a separate tank, and complex pressurization. Clean? Yes. Practical? Not really, and infrastructure held it back. This new engine isn't that. This is true combustion. Honda engineers have cracked a way to burn hydrogen directly inside an internal combustion engine using a reinforced chamber that can withstand temperatures beyond 2000 degrees Celsius. The outcome? A high-performance powerhouse that produces only one byproduct, steam. But here's the mind-blowing part. The engine doesn't store hydrogen, it creates it on demand. Through a proprietary nanocatalyst combined with a piezoelectric water splitting system, the vehicle pulls hydrogen atoms from water molecules while driving. You read that right. Water goes in, hydrogen is generated instantly, combusted, and the only thing leaving the tailpipe is harmless mist. How much water does it consume? About 5 liters per 100 kilometers. No battery fires, no overloaded grids, no rare metals, just plain water. And yes, Honda claims even salt water works. Rain barrels, rivers, even tap water could theoretically fuel it. So why has the world never heard of this until now? Because this engine isn't new. Honda quietly started developing it nearly 2 decades ago under a classified initiative known as Project Aqua. The spark came back in 2007 as lithium-ion battery mania began. Honda, already a hybrid pioneer with the insight, foresaw the limitations looming over battery tech. They began building, in total secrecy, a combustion-based alternative, one that bypassed mining, charging, and scarce material supply chains. By 2011, Project Aqua had functioning prototypes. Then, suddenly, it disappeared. No announcement, no explanation, no leaks. Silence. Insiders insist it wasn't technical failure. Pressure from oil conglomerates, battery lobbyists, and even partners in hybrid technology allegedly forced the project underground. EV startups were rising fast, and a water-powered engine could have toppled too many entrenched interests. So Honda shelved it. The engineers were reassigned. Many moved to more acceptable projects like next-gen hybrid systems or the Clarity fuel cell program. Hydrogen fuel cells were politically safer, easier to regulate, and far simpler to manage. But the world didn't stop. By 2024, EV headlines were filled with battery fires. Power grids struggled under massive charging demand. Lithium mining controversies erupted across Africa and South America. And suddenly, Honda's leadership spotted something they hadn't seen in years. An opportunity. Project Aqua Drive was quietly revived in early 2025. And this time, Honda didn't start from scratch. They recovered the prototypes, 3 water-powered vehicles locked away for over a decade in a temperature-controlled facility in Saitama Prefecture. Refitted with modern tech, the updated test beds hit the road within just 5 months, and what they delivered stunned even the engineers who had built them. 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, faster than a Clarity plug-in, rivaling many top EVs. Top speed? 180 km per hour, with torque staying consistent even on steep climbs. Range? A jaw-dropping 760 km on a single 50-litre water refill. Refueling? No $2 million hydrogen stations. No electric chargers, just ordinary water. Connect a hose to the onboard port, flip a switch, and the tank fills in under 3 minutes. No waiting hours for a recharge, no range anxiety, no battery degradation over time. And the kicker? Maintenance is simpler than even a traditional gasoline engine. No complex battery modules, no coolant worries, just straightforward, reliable mechanics. Honda's engineers claim wear and tear rates are 42% lower than conventional combustion engines. Why? Because water vapor is the only exhaust. No carbon buildup, no soot. Significantly less heat stress on internal parts. What began as a secret experiment in the 2000s may now be the biggest existential threat to the EV industry. And what happens next could send shockwaves through every automaker, every miner, every battery startup on the planet. Because the moment this hits mass production, everything changes. Honda has already begun internal testing on multiple production-ready variants. No one was prepared for the tremor Honda sent through the EV world, not even Tesla. If this engine works as claimed, the entire EV supply chain, the backbone of a trillion-dollar industry, just got hit by a silent, invisible tsunami. Inside Tesla's Giga Nevada, panic quietly spread. Battery modules, once hailed as the core of sustainable transport, suddenly felt obsolete. Lithium, not needed. Cobalt and nickel, irrelevant. That multi-billion-dollar Panasonic battery plant in Kansas, a potential stranded asset. Executives from Lucid, Rivian, and legacy giants like GM were reportedly summoned into urgent closed-door meetings less than 24 hours after the prototype surfaced. The message in every room was the same. If this water engine is real, we're finished. It wasn't just the materials, it was the infrastructure. Thousands of charging stations across the US, the entire supercharger network, suddenly unnecessary. Recycling startups betting on dead lithium cells were already downsizing. You can't recycle what isn't being used. And the numbers were staggering. This wasn't some sci-fi engine requiring rare earth metals or platinum-lined fuel cells. Total cost? $1,320, less than a third of a typical EV drivetrain. No massive batteries, no high-voltage inverters, just a small water tank, a hydrogen separator, a piezoelectric converter, and a supercapacitor the size of a lunchbox. Operating costs? 0.8 cents per mile. That's not a typo. Compare it to 3.2 cents per mile for most EVs, and the economics just went nuclear. Even accounting for production and energy sourcing, lifetime emissions for this water-powered Honda were 78% lower than the greenest Tesla, including manufacturing. And the break-even point? 1.4 years. That's how fast an average user recoups the premium through fuel savings. After that, transportation is essentially free, indefinitely. So what kind of magic was hidden inside this Honda? At its heart is something engineers once deemed impossible: a piezoelectric ultrasonicator. Using high-frequency mechanical vibrations, it splits water molecules instantly into hydrogen and oxygen on demand, not stored, not compressed, not explosive. The hydrogen fuels a compact combustion chamber, while oxygen is either expelled or reabsorbed. Energy isn't stored in a lithium-ion battery, but in a dense supercapacitor array that stabilizes current and even recharges from the car's own motion. Cold start? Verified at -22 degrees Celsius, winter ready. Emissions? Lab tests show only trace oxygen and water droplets, No NOx, no CO2, no smog. On a cold morning, the tailpipe steam is the only sign the engine is running. And critically, there's no hydrogen tank, no compression, no fire hazard. The engine generates exactly what it needs while driving, essentially functioning as a portable power plant powered by water and air. So why isn't the world cheering? Because some very powerful interests are furious. Within 48 hours of the leak, European regulators reportedly issued internal directives to review synthetic fuel and alternative hydrogen policies. Translation: discredit it before it spreads. Oil lobbyists in Texas, blindsided by a fuel source that bypasses drilling, pipelines, and refineries, dismissed the news as a PR stunt, while quietly lobbying for emergency fuel tax protections. One US senator allegedly drafted a bill proposing a water usage tax for non-agricultural vehicles. Yes, a tax on water. In China, automotive R&D teams began retrieving archived Mirai research from university partnerships. Reverse engineering efforts are already underway. Japan's Ministry of Economy was reportedly warned, intellectual theft is inevitable. Tesla made a surprising move, suspending all Cybertruck drivetrain upgrades. No official reason was given, but insiders say Musk wants to fully understand the water engine before committing to another EV leap. Because even if 60% of this tech is real, it changes everything. Honda isn't just threatening the EV market, it's shaking the foundations of the global energy economy. No lithium, no rare earths, no grid dependence, just water. That one word is enough to spark panic across industries, continents, and ideologies. Water can't be controlled, privatized, or fracked. And when it becomes the fuel of the future, energy markets aren't just disrupted, they're rewritten. And the first casualty? Money. The financial quake spread fast. Just hours after Honda's secret was exposed, oil markets hemorrhaged. Saudi Aramco, the crown jewel of petroleum dominance, lost a staggering $41 billion in market capitalization in a single day. Not a dip, a rupture. Across the globe, Norway's trillion-dollar sovereign wealth fund paused its aggressive lithium investments. For years, they bet on EVs as the future. Overnight, their crystal ball shattered. Shares in lithium startups were dumped before media even had a chance to spin the story. Meanwhile, India, quietly but deliberately, began signaling interest in becoming a water engine manufacturing hub by 2026. Leaked meeting notes suggest top officials met with Honda's Asia-Pacific division barely 48 hours after the prototype surfaced, exploring rural refueling infrastructure and potential military adaptation in the Himalayas. The Japanese yen, long battered by inflation, suddenly surged. Honda's stock jumped 17.9% in a single trading session, the largest one-day gain in the company's modern history. And in a twist few predicted, Russia entered the conversation. Kremlin insiders reportedly approved a fast-track program to adapt the engine for tanks, logistics trucks, and even submarine drone prototypes. But just as the world scrambled to catch up, more secrets leaked, and this time it wasn't Honda. In early June, anonymous engineers, rumored to be part of a fired subcontractor team, posted full schematics of the piezo-catalytic hydrogen separator on a whistleblower forum. Within hours, the documents had been downloaded over 4 million times. Japan's patent office confirmed the technology had briefly been registered in 2023, then mysteriously withdrawn. Suspicion grew that Honda had been forced into silence until now. Internal memos from R&D divisions in Saitama and Tochigi revealed something even bolder. Honda had already deployed 10 test fleets across 3 continents under dummy companies. One prototype was field tested in rural Kenya, muddy roads, extreme heat, and high altitudes. The result? Zero performance loss. Lab reports confirmed that even in enclosed environments, tunnels or underground garages, the engine's emissions remained completely non-toxic. Just water vapor and trace oxygen. No CO2, no nitrogen oxides, no soot, not even residual hydrogen. It was so clean you could literally breathe the exhaust. But not everything is perfect. And now, red flags are starting to ripple across the system. Water, yes, water, could become the new oil. In regions already battling drought like California or parts of sub-Saharan Africa, experts warn that localized fuel demand could overwhelm municipal supplies. We're entering uncharted territory where geopolitical tensions could arise over who gets to fuel their cars and with whose water. The engine's core system also requires corrosion-resistant alloys, raising initial manufacturing costs by an estimated 15%. Some metals aren't rare, but they are specialized, and the global supply chain isn't ready. Insurance agencies are reportedly baffled. One source says underwriters can't categorize the engine under EV, ICE, or hydrogen fuel cell classes. It's a regulatory no man's land. Municipal governments may even cap daily water usage at public fueling stations to prevent stress on their grids. And if that happens, EV infrastructure upgrades, chargers, substations, battery backups could be halted entirely. Why invest in a powertrain that's just been leapfrogged by water, sound waves, and ingenuity? The storm isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Honda is expected to go fully public with the water engine at the next Tokyo Auto Show, not as a concept, but with full-scale production timelines. Initial rollout models may appear in Asia and the Middle East first, where EV adoption lagged due to infrastructure challenges. And now, that delay looks almost prophetic. And what about Elon Musk? So far, silence. No tweet, no meme, no press conference. The man who's weighed in on everything from Dogecoin to SpaceX launches hasn't said a word about the engine that could make Tesla's mission obsolete. Insiders claim Cybertruck production upgrades were quietly frozen for review. Other automakers aren't waiting. Leaks from Detroit and Seoul suggest emergency meetings are already underway, with some companies quietly requesting government support just to pivot toward water-based propulsion. And Honda? They're not slowing down. A roadmap was quietly submitted to the Japanese Ministry of Economy last week. The target? 1 million water engines per year by 2027. This isn't just the end of electric as we know it. It's a reset button for the entire global auto industry. From Detroit to Dubai, from charging stations to cobalt mines, everything is suddenly hanging by a thread. The revolution won't be televised. It will be unleashed with the turn of a key and a splash of water. If this is only the beginning, you won't want to miss what comes next. Hit subscribe and stay ahead of the shockwave.